Greetings, beloved. We give thanks um, to the path that are set before us, by those who came before us. We give thanks to those of us who are here, and we also give thanks to those who are coming. And it's a beautiful DNA that runs through us, a beautiful blood that runs through our spirit and our soul. We're here again to talk about spirituality. I am Kara Utep. Give thanks. We'll talk today about spirituality in the sense of Maat. We want to introduce Maat in our conversation today. Maat is referred to the values of our ancient people. Maat is referred to the values of our ancient people who built the greatest civilization on the foundation of those principles. Maat was one of the highest form of spiritual experiences. Again, we can tune back to that experience by going within and going to our memory bank and pull out our memories, and our memories will lead us back to that great experience of Maat, a great civilization. Maat was so important that even the very kings who sat on top of the civilization as rulers had to be subscribed to Maat for him or her to rule, and the queens as well, not forgetting our queens, had to subscribe to Maat in order for them to be fitted for rulership. And just let that sink a bit, because that says a lot in comparison to the where the leaderships are concerned. So Maat's values and principles, virtues were truth, righteousness, justice, reciprocity, balance, harmony. We will touch on them. It's within the short space of time is not a fair time to dive into all of it, but we can have a go and talk about the values. Value of truth. It's very controversial today in this time and this dispensation. Everybody has a particular truth. One of the things we realized with our ancient people is that truth was decided by them, and that's very important. There can't be many truths because for many people, many people have different culture, ideology, experiences, and so therefore for many people truth is many truths are not universal among people, if I may put it this way. And so truth is truth when you decide it is truth for you in that sense. But if we talk about universal truth, then universal truth is not left to any particular group to decide what those truths are over another group. So for example, a universal truth is that the sun rises in the east. A group can say it rises in the west, or north or south for that matter, but that doesn't make it so. It does rise in the east, and that's an established truth. That is a universal truth. So we can apply this guideline to any truth that we come across from any literature, from any religious body, religious groups. If the truth is not universal in the sense of it's not an established truth that is tested to be what we call fact, then it is not truth universally. However, individual can choose, say, cultural truth that suits their needs. So truth is critical for us to understand in that sense. Again, and also truth has to be a way of that allows us to function in a way that benefits your interests. or our interests. And we've established in some of our past videos that there is no such thing as an individual. An individual is a part of a family. A family is part of a community. A community is part of a nation. So therefore, it's important for us to understand wholeness. Wholeness also incorporates those who come before us, our ancestors, and those who are coming to us in form of newborns.
So, who is Maat, or what is Maat, and what is the where does that originate?
Who is Maat? Maat, before I go into who is Maat, Maat is a lot of our, as I said, a lot of the virtues of our ancestors established and taught and built the greatest civilization that ever existed on the continent of a cable land called Africa today. They taught they taught it. A lot of the reflections taught in mythology. Mythology is one of the greatest carrier of truth, meaning it's a mythology teaches us a truth without it necessarily being a physical person. So my art is represented, reflected, interesting enough in a person of a woman. That's how. Now we'll talk about some of these figures as well, because that's how much respect our males had for the female, to the extent that they saw the highest form of spiritual attainment and the highest virtue you can build a civilization on was coming from the female energy. So Mahat is represented as a woman with the feathers. The feathers we'll talk about the feathers, because the feathers are a great representation of balance. The feathers are the feathers of an ostrich bird. And one of the reasons why the ostrich was used is because all of the feathers are equal. Now that's very powerful. You cannot get more spiritual than that. You cannot get more just than that. You cannot get more balance and harmony than that when a representation is represented across the board equal. Having said that though, our ancestors never saw a separation between or divide between the male energy and the female energy. They saw that they were complementary of each other. They saw that we were at our best and our strongest when the male energy and the female energy could combine, could work together. And that's what we see our families can accomplish. That's what we see we need to go back to in complementing each other, not breaking apart and not separating each other. So truth is a very powerful thing if we could go back to our memories and pull out, absorb that which our forefathers or foremothers lay out for us as a way of life. So we could go on and on about truth, but of course there are some of the other principles that are there. Righteousness. We have within us spirit. We are not just flesh. We're not just of the natural hemisphere. We're also part of the spiritual hemisphere. We are also divine. We're also a divine being. And so within the core of our essence lies the right to do right. Within the core of our essence carries with us the discernment of right and wrong. We find ourselves being drawn out of that civilization some long time ago, 500 years ago. However, the important thing is our ancestors preserve within us, hidden within us, that which can sustain us and lead us back to once we came. As we said, there is a um, function of Sankofa that takes us back, and our memories helps us with that process. So righteousness, justice. We talked about the symbol of Maat is the feather of the ostrich, um, which shows that all the feathers are equal. So we are the people of Maat. If we are indeed the people of Maat, we are the people that represents justice. We represent that which is equity, that which is fair, that which is balanced. And you can't separate justice with balance and harmony. You can't separate justice from reciprocity. And I think we are in the state, the world is in the state that it's in today because the world has not incorporated those principles of justice, those principles of, and you cannot have, without justice, you can't have harmony, you can't have peace, you can't have balance, you can't have, and reciprocity is not viable.
Okay, so in today's world, the individual, how does that affect an individual's life? Is there something particular that we should be doing in order to get ourselves in line with Ma'at?
Good question. We do have to, as I said, at the first instant and first point, I think is we do have to go back within ourselves, and we do have to get in touch with our better self. We are not. The world doesn't reflect that this is happening to us, but this is crucial because without those principles being present, it further divides us, it further separates us. For example, we talked about justice. Without justice, there is no harmony and there is no balance. And if there is no harmony and there is no balance, then the opposite of harmony and balance is chaos. Right? But another huge one is, which is very important, is reciprocity. Is the give and take. It's crucial that we practice those things, or we know it to be a vital value within us, because it is a value system, a virtue system. If we and it's life itself. We can't even call it value and virtues. It is life itself on a high moral level, a very high ethical level. If we don't practice that, then our morals is very low. Without our morals being high, how can we expect from each other accountability? How can we expect from each other honesty? How can we expect from each other on a daily basis care and understanding and patience? And this is crucial because it's part of everyday living. It's not those kind of situation where you wait for a particular date and time to practice. A lot of people wait for date and time to practice. I'll wait for Saturday. I'll wait for Sunday when we congregate to practice. It's not productive in that way. It's everyday life. It's like innately you know you will shower if you shower every day. Innately you know you will be eating 2 or 3 times a day. You know that you will be doing certain things almost like automatically because it's already part of your consciousness. That's the key, consciousness. It's part of your consciousness. Lacking of consciousness is self-defeating, because if you do not have consciousness, you are led here and there, and you are led by what is popular, what is may feel good, whatever. But consciousness keeps you on the higher plane, as we say, of Maat, and that which you give returns to you. So you replenish as you give. That reciprocity really keeps that check and balance, and really keeps us on a high plane. That which we give, and not just to each other in person, but that which we give to the ancestors, it's given back to us. That which we give to the divine, it returns to us. That which we give to ourselves returns to ourselves. But we owe to ourselves to go back to those high level of consciousness that leads us to the highest way of living, which is Maat.
Okay, and what next time? What's the next step do you suggest, if there is one, of learning or practicing? Is there a way for us to, that you would suggest for us to live a life of Ma'at? If so, would you be able to speak on that next time?
Yes, we can. One of the things, based on experience and based on observation, and our ancestors were very, very strong and particular on observation. It is no wonder that they came up with so much of what the world drew from to help build civilization in different parts of the world. They were very observant of nature. So one of the things that I would say is try to live in a way that you start getting to have openness in your life. Do not judge something before you analyze it, before you know it, before you hear it out. I think that's a closed door method a lot of people practice, where because it does not fit that particular description and doesn't fit that which they've heard before, they're ready to close, they're ready to shut it down. That's not how we learn, that's not how we grow, that's not how we develop. So for example, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, or even less, most people did not have a cell phone. Most people didn't operate within the construct of a cell phone. 50 years ago, most people did not have a computer. And so the way we did function in relation to technology, we just memorized a lot of stuff. And we wrote a lot of stuff. Today we don't write as much, we don't memorize as much. But we adopt as those things came widely available into our lives. So adaptation is also a way of practicing openness. Keep your heart open to receive that which will make you a better person, that will make your family a better person, that will make your community, your nation, the world a better place, while filtering through whatever you hear and whatever we talk about here as well. I would encourage you to do your own personal research, your personal checking on and filtering through, so that which you accept, you know, it's based on grounded facts, and then your truth becomes your truth based on your experiences with it. So again, I'm glad that we could have this discussion, and I'm looking forward to talk with you again. Peace and love and blessings.